You are eating less than you did 10 years ago. You are watching what you put on your plate. You are moving as much as your body allows. And yet, your belly keeps getting bigger. If this sounds familiar, you are not imagining it, and you are certainly not alone. Millions of adults over 60 are experiencing exactly this, and most of them have been told it is simply their fault, that they need to eat less or move more. But doctors and metabolic researchers now know that after 60, belly fat follows completely different rules. Rules that have nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with what is happening silently inside your body. In the next few minutes, we are going to show you exactly why this happens and what you can actually do about it. Before we explain why this happens, you need to understand that not all belly fat is the same. There are two completely different types of fat in your abdomen, and only one of them is the serious concern. The first type is subcutaneous fat, the soft fat you can pinch just under your skin. This is largely cosmetic. The second type is visceral fat, and this is the one doctors worry about. Visceral fat sits deep inside your abdominal cavity, wrapping around your liver, pancreas, kidneys, and intestines. It is not passive storage. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory chemicals, disrupts hormone signals, and directly increases your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. Research from Harvard Medical School consistently links high visceral fat levels in adults over 60 to significantly elevated health risks, independent of total body weight. You can be a normal weight and still have dangerously high visceral fat. So why does visceral belly fat accumulate after 60, even when you are eating less? The first and most powerful reason is something most people have never heard of: sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the medical term for the gradual loss of muscle mass that begins in your 30s and accelerates dramatically after 60. Research suggests that adults lose between 3 and 8% of their muscle mass per decade after 30, and this rate increases after 60. Here is why this matters for belly fat. Muscle is your body's primary calorie-burning engine. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns at rest, even while you are sleeping. As muscle mass decreases, your resting metabolic rate drops significantly. This means that even if you are eating the exact same amount as 5 years ago, or even less, your body is burning far fewer calories. The result? Those unburned calories are stored, and after 60, they tend to go directly to the abdomen. The second reason your belly grows after 60 is one that affects both men and women, but in completely different ways. In women, the decline of estrogen after menopause triggers a dramatic shift in where the body stores fat. Before menopause, estrogen directs fat storage toward the hips and thighs. After menopause, with estrogen levels dropping, the body begins redirecting fat storage to the abdomen instead. This is why many women notice their body shape changing significantly after 60, even without gaining overall weight. In men, declining testosterone after 60 has a parallel effect. Testosterone helps maintain muscle mass and supports fat burning. As testosterone levels fall, muscle mass decreases, fat storage increases, and the abdomen becomes the primary storage site. Research suggests that in both men and women, this hormonal shift is one of the most significant drivers of increased visceral belly fat after 60, and it operates entirely independently of diet.
The third reason is one that most people never connect to belly fat: chronic stress, and the hormone it produces called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone, released by the adrenal glands in response to physical or emotional stress. In short bursts, cortisol is healthy and protective. But when stress becomes chronic, as it often does after 60, with health concerns, financial pressures, loneliness, or loss, cortisol levels remain chronically elevated. And chronically elevated cortisol has one very specific and well-documented effect on the body. It directly drives fat storage into the abdominal area. Research from multiple universities confirms that high cortisol levels are independently associated with increased visceral belly fat, even in people who are eating carefully and exercising regularly. After 60, when sleep quality also declines and poor sleep itself elevates cortisol, this becomes a self-reinforcing cycle that keeps belly fat growing regardless of diet.
The fourth reason is one that operates silently for years before most people realize it is happening: insulin resistance. Insulin is the hormone your pancreas produces to help your cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream for energy. In a healthy metabolism, this process works efficiently. But after 60, many adults develop varying degrees of insulin resistance, where cells become less responsive to insulin signal. When cells stop responding efficiently to insulin, the pancreas produces more and more of it to compensate. And chronically high insulin levels have one very specific consequence. They tell your body to store fat, particularly in the abdominal area. Research suggests that insulin resistance becomes increasingly common after 60, driven by reduced muscle mass, hormonal changes, reduced physical activity, and the natural aging of metabolic processes. This means that even a modest amount of carbohydrates, an amount that would have been handled easily at age 40, can now trigger fat storage around the belly.
Now here is the part that matters most, because understanding why belly fat grows after 60 is only useful if you know what to actually do about it. Doctors and metabolic researchers point to 4 evidence-based strategies that directly address the real causes. First, protect your muscle mass. Resistance exercise, even light resistance training with bands or small weights, 2 to 3 times per week may help slow sarcopenia and support your resting metabolic rate. This is the single most impactful change most adults over 60 can make. Second, manage cortisol. Prioritizing sleep, reducing unnecessary stress, and incorporating even 10 minutes of daily calm, whether through walking, breathing, or quiet time, may help lower chronically elevated cortisol levels. Third, reduce refined carbohydrates. Not all carbohydrates equally, but refined carbohydrates and added sugars have the most direct impact on insulin levels and visceral fat storage after 60. Fourth, eat adequate protein. Research suggests that higher protein intake helps preserve muscle, support satiety, and may directly reduce visceral fat accumulation.
Before we summarize, there is one important point doctors consistently make. Belly fat after 60 is not just a cosmetic issue, it is a medical one. If your waist measurement is above 35 inches for women or above 40 inches for men, doctors recommend discussing this with your healthcare provider. This is because these measurements are associated with significantly elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. A simple blood test can check your fasting glucose, insulin levels, and inflammatory markers, giving you and your doctor a clear picture of what is happening inside your body. And if hormonal changes are contributing significantly, a conversation with your doctor about whether hormone-related support is appropriate for your specific situation may be worthwhile. Your belly is not growing because you lack willpower. It is growing because your body's chemistry has changed, and that deserves a medical conversation, not self-blame.
Here is what we know. After 60, belly fat does not grow because of willpower or laziness. It grows because of 4 powerful biological changes happening inside your body simultaneously. Muscle loss from sarcopenia reduces your calorie burning capacity. Hormonal changes from declining estrogen and testosterone redirect fat storage to the abdomen. Chronic cortisol from stress and poor sleep drives visceral fat accumulation. And insulin resistance causes even modest carbohydrates to be stored as abdominal fat. Understanding these causes is the first step. Protecting muscle with resistance exercise, managing stress and sleep, reducing refined carbohydrates, and eating adequate protein are the 4 strategies most supported by research. And if your waist measurement has been growing, speak to your doctor. Your body is not failing you. It is changing. And with the right knowledge, you can change with it. Subscribe to Anatomy Visual Lab. Every week, we explain what is happening inside your body clearly accurately and without the confusion.